You can see my screen.
You can see it now.
Oh, brilliant. So what I'm going to do, as I said today, is go through from page to understand, and as along, I'm going to be taking some notes, right? And you also should take the notes, because what I'm going to do here is take down the notes on this notepad and capture what we discuss. Okay, so start off. Now, the first chapter actually describes the role that you're playing, okay, and who you're reporting to. You're a senior finance manager who works for Raw Fashion. You report directly to the finance director, and your role includes giving advice on special projects and strategic matters. This part is very, very important. Okay, I'm going to Swati to find out from her why I think this is important.
Is it because it's only for special projects and not for the daily something?
Sorry, speak louder.
Is it because for the special projects and not for the ongoing processes?
Then what happens if you're doing that?
Then you'll be taking off the new coming projects, and you'll have to do a lot of stuff.
Correct. So as they position your role as you are involved in special projects and strategic matters, that means you move away from day-to-day operational aspects. Right? So your focus is on very strategic matters and projects. And projects means what? You have projects. There are few things that you need to consider. What things that you need to consider? The risk,
the business plan, right? So you have to analyze, for example, revenue, cost, profitability.
What you're saying is return on investment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Anything?
It is being set up somewhere outside normal location. You'll have to consider the test analysis and stuff also, right? Forces and all.
Yeah. The model that you need to consider.
5 forces.
Okay. Forces. There is one model. SAFS, right? Familiar with it, Tarun? Don't worry about it. We'll come to it. Okay. So this suitability, acceptability, feasibility, and sustainability is a SAF plus S model, right? So you need to consider that one as well, and then you need to consider the stakeholders, right? And you'll be looking at stakeholders, and you'll be looking at Mandelow's matrix. So this is you would be looking into. And any project you have to look into judgment. Correct? Are you looking from the first paragraph? We've identified some of the things that we need to be thinking of. Then next paragraph, it talks about Rio operates a large number of retail stores across Europe and in countries, which fashion, clothing, and accessories. Rio operates in 36 different countries. Rio designs, manufactures, and retails fashion, clothing, and accessories, but the majority of its manufacturing is outsourced. What do you get from this one? Taro, from you?
Many things, like they operate in many countries, right? So different laws, regulations, outsource their operations, not operations, manufacturing, so there's a vendor involved, supply chain issues could be there.
Mhm. So many countries, the fact that come into play with that, right? You're saying supply and supply chain, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Process. What else? In so many 36 different countries and selling, buying, and all that kind of stuff. What involves forex?
Yeah.
Okay? So immediately they're giving you an idea. Well, there is forex involved here. Okay. So this is an angle that you need to consider as well. Right. The fashion industry is a very dynamic and competitive. So this industry is very agile. Okay, it's very competitive. You need to change your strategies on the go. Basically, you can't be doing strategic plans for forever and forever because this industry changes constantly. Okay, there's a number of retailers using different brand names, operating across multiple countries and continents. Right? What does that say? High competition, high forces. Right? We are talking about high competition. Let's say there are a large number of brands operating in multiple countries and continents. These fashion retailers compete using different generic strategies. Generic strategies.
For differentiation.
Right. Okay. The question is basically using generic strategies, right? And maybe cost would be the key things, right? And differentiation and focus, right? Now, let's see what these guys are doing. Some retailers compete mainly on price and have the large range of items which are designed to appeal to specific types of customers. However, many fashion retailers have built strong brand names which reflect a mix of product quality, pricing strategy, and the retailer's ethos towards managing its supply chain and the environment in which the company operates. So basically what we're saying is we have got multiple different products, yes, and different people that we're marketing it to, right? And they're also focusing a lot on the competition is a lot on pricing, right? But they use kind of a combination of pricing, differentiation kind of strategies, right? So what do you think the retail market is like, Tarun? Especially the fashion.
Very dynamic, isn't it? And very close.
Competition, right? What type of industries have you worked in, Tarun? Robin, if you talk about hotels as well, and you're in Dubai, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You can again, Dubai. The reason I'm talking about the hotels as well is because it's high competition, right? Somewhat similar to the fashion industry in the sense high competition. You need to differentiate yourself in different ways. They will even if you're operating high class 5-star hotel, still there is differentiation that the customer is expecting, as well as pricing. They will always they will be price conscious, right? Now, the retail fashion industry has been criticized for the poor treatment of its suppliers, especially in Asian countries. However, the majority of European retail fashion companies have now addressed some of the problems in their supply chain, and they operate in much more responsible and sustainable way. Right? Companies now insist that their outsourced supplier adhere to code of conduct. So, what are we talking about? We're talking about ethics here, right?
Yes.
We're talking about code of conduct, right? And saying we are looking at the whole value chain, right? And looking at the sustainability, right? That's what they're saying in this one, okay? Because, I mean, in fashion industry, what happens is the manufacturer is driven down by the by the buyer. Like, for example, I worked in a company that manufactured for Victoria's Secret, Marks and Spencer, big brands like that. So the price of a product could sense, the cost of manufacturing it goes down to cents, right? As when actually it hits the shop front, the consumer, it's sold at $7. Right? Margins, also, of course, majority of it goes into the building and the shops. Right? That's where majority of the cost goes into. Okay. Unlike, now this is a very interesting one, this paragraph, where it talks about the customers and the customers' needs. And actually, the customers have gone beyond the product itself. Some time ago, the customers they were interested in the product in itself, right? Not wanted it. But with social media, where a lot of the facts about the suppliers, how they're treated, how the suppliers' employees are treated, have to light. And that has not gone down very well with the consumers, right? And this is where they say customers are increasingly interested in the green credentials of the retail fashion companies. Customers want products they purchase to have been sustainably sourced and responsibly manufactured. However, whilst price is still an important determinant of customers' buying behavior, the most important factor continues to be the design of the product and whether it is considered to be fashionable. The retail fashion industry in general has met much criticism for its sustainable business practices. Right? So I want to ask you, Tarun, in this hotel industry, do you practice a lot of sustainable, kind of practice? Do you have anything like that? Any reporting?
Yeah, of course. Nowadays we have a CSR, right? The social responsibility is one. The green engage, we have one of the practices where we want to save the electricity, right, or the utility.
Right.
So I think yes, definitely everybody's conscious. And then zero carbon, what is it called? We need to, because our company is UK listed, so we need to report on the carbon footprint as well.
Right. So you came up with something really interesting. Because this company that you're working is a UK listed company. So as a result, this company operates, they need to adhere to the UK law regulations, and there will be reports related to it as well, right? So let's say they operate in a country where this is not mandatory for reporting from a government perspective. But since you are listed company in the UK, you will still operate and behave in the same manner that you would in the UK, right? So that is the good thing about it. And you have what are some of the reports that you produce?
I mean, not per se in this.
Yeah. What I mean is that the company. Yes.
Yeah. We are not into that field at all. So I'll be knowing, but generally we look at the energy consumption and then like charity. We raise funds for charity and then invest whenever there is something happening in any part of the world, and you can have obviously access to the big part.
Yes. So talking about here is green credentials, right? Then we also talk about CSR, right? And sustainability. Practices, yeah. So kind of revolving around this case study, right? And let's go into, but they also say the key thing here is you have to be the industry is they're very obsessed with the design component of it, right? Whether it's fashionable or not. And what they say is also it's not criticized for its unsustainable business practices. What do you think these non-sustainable business practices would do? What do you think there?
Could be Asian, right? There was a big issue in Bangladesh where they were exploiting the labor. That they were not providing adequate facilities, or the adequate working conditions, and could be like into wage, not getting to living wage.
Yes.
So all these things non-sustainable, in terms of the working condition mostly, right?
Yes. Yes. So this is where the consumers go beyond the product itself, and they're bothered about how it is produced, and not only the consumers, because of our, because of the technology being available, and people are able to communicate with each other freely. Now we are in a position to see how the people in Bangladesh, the employees of these companies, are treated, right? What conditions they go through to produce this product for you. So not only the consumers, there will be other groups that are interested and who will protect these people. So this has come to play, and especially the reason for this is because the manufacturers are consistently looking at increasing their margins, right?
Yeah.
Increasing profitability. So the driver to reduce cost. So how do you reduce cost? It's labor. They go directly into labor and they see how can we reduce cost, right? We talk about customers' buying trends have been changing over the past 10 years, with an increasing number of clothing purchases being made over the internet, right? Now, this very interesting one, the internet, because we'll then talk about you do work, e-commerce, security, all that coming into play. So increasing sales via internet is another aspect, right? Comes e-commerce, right? Higher, right? Of it. Okay. How sale of clothing is still dominated by sales in stores and online. Research has shown that customers still prefer to see, feel, try on clothing before they purchase. More retail fashion companies regularly redesign their stores and refit them to ensure customers feel comfortable and that their stores continue to appeal to the target market. So they do. Most retail companies regularly redesign. So are doing this, right? So that means consistently, again, you are spending money on redesigning, right? And so if you're consistently redesigning the stores, you're going to have quite a bit of expenses. In this case, these guys are not having one or two stores, right? They have close to 1,000 stores. So this is a massive expense. Now we need to look at that as well. Need to build and maintain brand awareness and retain customer loyalty is key strategy for more retail fashion companies because of the fickle nature of customers' changing taste, right? Branding. They spend considerable amount of money on branding, right? Brand is a key component where funds are being utilized. So look at Rio's operations now, okay? Principal fashion retailer, but a key part of its business model is managing a complex distribution network. What does this mean? What is network? What do you think this is?
Operations in so many countries, so they need to manage the distribution, how managing the inventory, right? All the stores, what's coming, what's there, demand, which logistics they need to manage. They need to manage on day-to-day basis.
And it's Swati.
I said, because there is countries, they need to manage the distribution there.
Distribution?
Their supplies to manage the distribution. That's right.
Right. So what do you think? They must be having a lot of IT involvement here. Correct? Have a complex distribution network without a back-end very strong IT network. Okay? Do this?
Right.
You would have a software, but it's more about managing, like logistics because they have outsourced the manufacturing, right? And you
manufacturing is outsourced, correct?
Yeah. So then you have multiple channels. So it's not you who's shipping to the stores. Basically, your supplier will be shipping because you can't have goods coming into you and then you shipping to the store. So that's all managing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you at that point now if imagine you have you're working with, let's say, quite a few suppliers who are supplying multiple different things, right? Multiple different products. Would you on them, or how would you control this? Let's you have number of, let's say, 100 suppliers, 200 suppliers supplying all over the place to your company. How would you centrally look at this thing?
No, software, but you need people as well, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I'm looking at it, and this is where we need to be a bit creative as well in our thinking and see, let's imagine you are in the head office and you are the finance director's right hand, and you need to kind of view this information, but not only you, but there are lots of other people because our inventory will be quite massive. Right? We've got things from one place to the other, so we need to kind of understand from a holistic perspective, where are my products going, and in a given time, where are my products? Not have it now, but I'm saying this is an ideal scenario where I would know, well, this is where the suppliers, what are they supplying, when are supplying, right? Because we also see an opportunity where suddenly in one area a lot of products is moving, even though this guy was supposed to supply to one other store in one country, we may have to divert that, right? So you centrally can see this kind of inventory and the movements, right? The supply and the demand for these products in a holistic sense, rather than the people who are operating in that particular store or the country, right?
The head office as well. So they need
Right.
see people need to be in constant touch with the suppliers and
Yes.
also the stores.
Yeah. It would be, Tarun, it would be a case where the suppliers will actually link this information from their systems into your central system, right? We have in ERP we have iSupplier with Oracle, right? But even with SAP, you have same things where the supplier now actually links to your portal, right? He provides all the information to you rather than you having to go in there, right? Even when it comes to bidding, even tenders, all this information actually the supplier uploads this information to your portal, right? Things have changed quite a lot. Instead of you entering invoices, the supplier himself enters the invoices, right? So, and especially if you have a huge number of suppliers, then you request them, this is what you have to do. This is, this is the principle that you want to work in. This is the kind of operating model that you need to have when you're working with me, right? And the systems are geared to kind of operate as well. Now, let's go where a majority of Rio's products are manufactured by carefully selected outsourced suppliers, but it also has its own production factory based in Northern Europe. Rio has its own distribution centers and manages a road haulage fleet of trucks in Europe and Asia. Now, this is interesting, where they say most is outsourced, but they also have a in Europe. Right? Why do you think they do this?
It's 100% on the suppliers, right? So,
And you? So,
Is it because they might have tax benefits as well?
yes, could be in Europe, could be anywhere. It might be tax effects. Also, like I said, Tarun, it's you don't rely 100% on outsourced providers, but also maybe you cater to the European market through this, right? So it might be advantageous you locating a manufacturing base in Europe rather than in China or Bangladesh, where you need to then get transport, spend a lot of money on transport. So closer to the customer, they
or maybe a separate line of clothing products, which is highly specialized or
separate line of clothing. Yeah. And if you say, well, this product, if a man, if a garment, let's talk about shoes actually. Shoes, if you say, well, it's manufactured in China and one is manufactured in Italy, right? Even though the Italian product is more expensive, but if it is linked, it's a high brand valued product, people will buy it, the country of manufacturing also has a brand value now, right? When just people will not just look at the price tag. Okay. Rio Street. The first Rio store, named after its founder, Ria Arena Oliveira, opened its capital city, Sealand, a non-European country, in 1990. So not all that old, right? Innovative design and good quality products were an immediate success, and sales were much higher than originally planned. This demonstrated Rita that the company had a huge potential for expansion, right? So before, the focus was mainly on the design aspect, right? The company grew slowly for the next 12 years. Italy cash generated from operations and national bank loans to expand into new locations. So the funding structure was loans. Funding was loans and cash generated from the business. Okay. The additional funding structure that they had. Okay. So then a newness. Right? However, by 2001, it was clear that the shortages of long-term finance and lack of senior management skills were slowing the rate of expansion. So, a very interesting concept, right? Because you, as you may start a business, and this business would be quite successful. You realize it is a very successful business, and so you're expanding and extending. But after a time, like what's happened here, the skill set of the existing managers of that particular business is not sufficient for that next level. Have you guys ever experienced or seen something like this?
Financing or just the people?
People, the operations, everything.
When you expand, right, you need more people and experienced people as well. So to the operations, right, which are more than one unit or something.
Right, Swati.
I don't know deviate from the topic, but there was this movie that just came out. It was called The Intern.
I can't hear you. Can you speak out louder?
A movie that recently came out. It was called The Intern, which is based on the similar thing.
Yeah.
The fashion industry, where the owner was running everything, and she was supposed to hire a CEO because she wasn't able to improve or increase the more. That's the things that I have seen lately.
Right. And I've seen this as well many in my own personal experiences with working in the commercial world. I've seen it as well. Certain, particularly you can see this when you acquire a company, right, where the parent company acquires another company, and the company they acquired, the company acquires this because they see potential. They see, yes, we can do a lot with this company, right? It's not running at its full potential, but the skill set of the people, the thinking is still that the way of they managed it 30 years. So as a small business, they will not think of it as a big business, and it is a mind shift for these people. Think, now suddenly I'm going from just working in my backyard kind of thing, working and supplying to just my to supplying to the rest of the world, right? It's a huge mind shift because you actually need different skill sets to play in that level if you're working with big companies, right? People who have worked in companies that have been quite small in people, it's very difficult for them to work with large corporations. And you will see this when you recruit people as well. If you're recruiting people, you will ask them the question, if you're working, let's say, for example, if you're working in a large company, and if you've got people trying to recruit, and all of them have the same qualification, one thing that may be an advantage for one candidate will be because the person has worked in an organization that is a large organization, employee of 30,000, 40,000 employees, and revenues, large revenues work, and then also working in different parts of the world, because the exposure experience that person has is far different to that of a person who's got the same qualification but also worked in an organization with 20. Okay, so this is what has happened to Rio, where they have been now constrained because skill set has not been there. They do. A new team of designers and a more experienced management team will put place over the next few years. Rio also has raised loan finance to help fund some of its expansion plans. This up to the flotation of Rio's 8 years ago on a major European stock exchange in 2007. So now they are listed in the stock exchange. But first, it was a company that was not listed. Now, by in the stock exchange, what happens?
That's right. Listing requirements, and you produce reports, the financial statements on quarterly basis, and also so more discipline.
Comply to regulations, right?
Yeah.
Reporting, right? So, and you are now suddenly you've got right. So you've now got additional funding. That's the positive part. Okay. Enable the company's existing debt to be repaid. Also raised funds for expansion both in Europe and also in Asian market. The company has secured new debt finance at a more competitive interest rate. Right. So why do you think that they have been able to secure debt at a more competitive rate? Why do you think? What happens once you list? Vendors,
yeah, they have more trust, obviously, and then your equity, is increased, right? So that the ratio, must have improved as well. So that's why your balance sheet.
Correct. Because you suddenly got more transparency, right? That enables the lenders to be more relaxed and more, their risk rate of this company has reduced. Right? So as a result, they're in a position to provide funding at a much lower rate. So Rio issued 15 shares in 2007 and has not issued any further shares since its initial public offering. Rio has an author share capital of 250 million shares. So you have the capacity like a yeah. So this makes and this thing is, say you are um, your landlord is your main supplier, right? And he or she can increase, decrease rents as and when they want. Because they have any control over this. Let's say they have a flagship boutique, right? In this flagship boutique, we have invested quite a bit. Now, the landlord can increase the rent significantly. I do not have control over that.
Yeah, lease contract, right? So
yes, but even though the lease contract is there, let's say the lease contract is there for 2 to 3 years, right? It's not going to be for 10 years, right? And then the landlord sees these guys are doing extremely well. And it happened, actually, where the landlord sees these guys are doing extremely well. They're not moving anywhere. Right? And yes, there is regulations in place where you cannot increase the rent by X amount. They're in a position where so they're exposed to the fact that rent increases, right?
Or there's a partnership-based model where you have the fixed rent and the variable rent could be based on the weather.
Yeah, partnership. Yeah.
That's what nowadays this is a kind of business model.
And it's what you see?
No, I can't think of anything.
Right. One business model. Rio stores sell well-designed quality products. Rio differentiates itself from other fashion retailers by its innovative, up-to-date designs. Rio also provides an excellent customer experience due to attractive stores and high levels of customer service. Rio does not compete on price. The price charged by Rio reflects the reputation which the brand has established. Okay, so not compete on price at all. It's a differentiated product, right? It's differentiated. And price is, they don't compete on price, and this very high service. And what else? Okay, the stores are, very decorated stores, right? The level of, there would be something like the Bulgari stores or the Cartier stores, right? Very high level stores. So, level fashion, they do not compete on price because the market is very different. Rio's own designs under the Rio label in its own stores, which range from high street stores to out-of-town and city center shopping malls. Rio does not currently rent space in department stores to have shop within a shop format. So what are the advantages, disadvantages on this? So like you get a lot of these shops within a shop format in our malls as well. Can you give examples?
I think like in Spencer's, they have like these lines.
Mm.
You Marks and Spencer's, if you go, you'll find a formal section, you'll find a youth section.
Right. So department stores is somewhat like let me say the name is not in my mind. Very famous. It's not Marks and Spencer. Marks and Spencer for their own products. Departmental stores will have other labels as well. Let's say, for example, Macy's. maces will have different labels under them.
I mean, on label, so that they
Right.
are, selling for others. But you are right. We have many stores with
Correct.
their
It's
own
a
stuff, as well as the brands as well.
yes. So now what these guys want to do is no, I'm not interested in that. I want my own store and I will sell only my products. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of way of operating, right? Rio's business model is based on fast fashion concept where designers are prepared and approved within Rio. Designs are then offered to suitable outsourced suppliers for manufacturing. It enables Rio to achieve high sales of latest fashion trends. The business model also attracts young fashion-conscious customers to the Rio brand. The time taken from design to finished products in a store is a critical success factor for Rio. Okay, now this means they are definitely not the category of Marks and Spencer. Okay, and Spencer, for example, they have very long production lines. Okay, and the production that particular product will go on for months, whereas it doesn't happen here. They change their product constantly, and that's one of their successes. Right now, this is somewhat like Zara, where they change their products every week. Right, there are new products coming in twice a week to the store. Okay, and these guys would be much better than Zara in the sense brand is higher one than Zara, because what they're saying is they are not competing on price. They're competing on a design as well as on the turn time they've got and the branding. Okay, they will be actually using shipping perspective. They will not ship. They will use airlines because they want to transport from one to the other pretty quickly. We operate the traditional 4 fashion seasons each year based on the 4 European seasons, but instead, its fast fashion concept is based around a continual flow of new products arriving in store each week. This fashion concept is driven by the importance of the speed to market. Reception at the design board to the finished product arriving in store. So they have to have a very good relationship with their suppliers, correct? Because they need to work, even though you've outsourced the supplies, right? You outsource that manufacturing aspect. They need to work as one team to bring the whole thing together, and speed to market is the most important thing. Right? Questions? Any thoughts here?
No.
Yeah. You very rarely manage the same design twice, but on customer feedback, slight design modifications will result in similar products arriving into store. The continual and fast flow of new and updated products into stores and the high expectation of customers for new designs mean that any products arriving in store could have a detrimental effect on sales and customer satisfaction. Right? So this bringing to store is a very important fact. Okay? So what we'll say here is differentiation is one, but the other one is product market.
Yeah, ridiculously speed.
Right? Once a week, new to market.
And managing the inventory is also then.
Correct. And manage. This leads to management of trade. Real shorter lead times has allowed it to develop its high fashion principle and scarcity of supply in an image of exclusivity among its customers. Over 90% of real sales revenue is generated by full price products. What does full price products mean?
At one discounted, the ones that are sold apart from the sale and sale.
Correct. Correct. Right. So you can see one of the things that they're doing is keep it fresh. Right. Keep it fresh. New products, new products. It means you customers coming in more correct. Now with Zara, because see, if I do Marks and Spencer store, right? If I today and go there next month, the same products are there. But if Zara, this and next week, it's different types of products that are there. Okay. This is what they're targeting, and it's 90% of sales revenues is generated by full price, so it's not sales. Monitors a range of key performance indicators which include footfall, which is defined as a number of customers entering all of its stores, right? Irrespective whether a purchase is made or not. So they're checking how many customers enter into the store. That key things that they're checking, right? How do you think they can improve on this footfall? How do you think?
I think a good scheme would help the cash the footfall.
So how would you monitor this? How would you kind of around this?
I
What
think
do?
increases in the number of skilled salesmen.
What do you, Aaron?
Footfall, I think a loyalty scheme should be there. I'm not sure if it's there because I've not seen the study material. And you have sensors now in the shops, right? That's how you measure, I guess, the footfall. But at the same time, you can also have additional measure of how many real buyers, coming to the by looking into your sales.
Yes. I'm thinking out loud and thinking, okay, what about having an maybe everyone is having an app these days.
Mm.
Not
So that's
cool.
that's why I meant
That is not
loyalty.
cool, right? I mean, imagine you have to have 50 from different suppliers, right? Go to 50 different suppliers. So average, at least you'll have to have 30 apps. That is not, I mean, in the future, this is not going to be the thing that people want to do, right? It's going to be quite annoying. Some use like any, so how can you send maybe a promotional code to people who are there? Now this is where the IT guys will have to come in, right? Think of a way. Now you got sensors, so therefore you're capturing the number of people coming in, but you need to capture the people going out without a product, right? Really measure whether they just browse through, or how can we make a sale, right? Can we turn it around, right? And basically use IT to kind of promotions for customers, solution here, but I'm just giving an idea, right?
Commissions for upselling as well.
For ups. Not say you have to increase the staff, okay? Because they will not take that on is because then my cost is gonna go up, right? Because hearings is going to increase my cost. So I'm trying to do a lot of things without adding cost, right? Adding like permanent cost. Okay.
And we could have improved the skills of the staff, like in training or something like that. That would help them improve their
Add
skills.
what?
The self skills. Basically, with a lot of footfalls,
Yes.
wouldn't it be good for the sales team to be efficient so that we could even encash the footfalls?
Right. What you're saying is we've got a fall. We know its amount, but then how are you going to do it? The next stage?
To encash the footfall, having still payments so that like people coming in. If this team is only not good, so get that much information about the design, the you able to see a lot and leave. But if this team is skilled, they are good at their job, they'll probably be able to encash the footfalls.
So what you said was like, even additional commission is good. So then you for upselling, right? And basically incentivize the sales team. So they'll be motivated to upsell to make sure that, well, if your salary is, let's say, 10,000 dirhams a month, you sell one product or 50 products. What's the point? Correct. So I will not be bothered. Yes, but if there is a commission component linked to it, then people will get more interested. Okay, is one. Then also what we also mentioned is, there are a way that you send some information to the person's mobile, or anywhere that you can send promotions as well, right? Is something that they can do. Aspect that you could now, what you need to do in a store is basically to retain them, right? So as long as possible. The more they stay looking at stuff, they will think of buying, right? So what other things can you get people to do? For example, if you look at a bookshop, right? In a bookshop, you just come in to get some books. My activity is curtailed to just coming in, buying a book and going out, or just browsing and just going out. If I have a coffee shop, if this bookshop has a coffee shop, which has food and things like that, right? And the books are surrounded this coffee shop. To linger here is the incentive. Plus, may more time, right, in browsing than buying. Ideas on this?
Even negative, it doesn't definitely will lead to sale, but yes, you will have more chances of them making a sale.
Right. These guys do. This, in Europe, I'm not sure about here, but in US for sure, this company what's this big coffee company?
Starbucks.
Starbucks, yes. Starbucks. What key things that they do is now internet is provided by everybody, right? It's not a special thing. It's a deal. Wi-Fi is available. Malls provide it. It's normal. It's very normal. What they do is they provide special content to their customers, right? It's content that they have to pay for. Provide it for free. So some additional things that these guys could think of giving, right? To think of what additional things that they can do if the customers come into a store, what things that they would be interested in. And it will not be their product, it will be something else, right? That you need to come up with some creative way of doing, right? Because that will increase the sale, because they are talking a lot about their stores, that people like to come into their store, and it is quite a grand store that they've got, right? So store managers and customer responses enable Rio to adapt, update, and amend individual design to meet customers' changing fashion demands. This demonstrates that it is really responsive to the fashion market. So it's instant, right? Immediately there's something, if the customers complain, so they must be having a very good system here, because imagine you have 976 stores worldwide and you respond to these issues immediately. You do have a very good system in place. That is highly responsive to the fashion market. Rio's success measured in growth of stores and company share price is due to its responsiveness to meet its customers' desires for the latest trends. So that this too is one of their characteristics to be successful. Root now. This is what we do. We manage stores, internet sales, and franchising. Right? If you look at the way that it's distributed, the stores are better, growth is much less, right? Stores is 21.6. So you see the growth in franchise stores are increasing here. Stages, disadvantages, any comments here?
A small base in franchise, right? And so obviously, and franchise, of course, the margins are much lower than managed. Obviously, they must be getting on royalty or something like that.
But the growth is high. Does that say anything?
Then future is franchise, maybe.
But still, isn't it? Their own stores are much higher. There's 800 compared to just 90 of franchise stores, right? Still, they need to focus a lot on their own stores.
And numbers still are huge. The growth,
correct,
right, for managers.
Yes. Now, geographic analysis is also quite interesting. So we have majority in Europe and in 100 in Asia, but the growth in Europe is in single digits, where Asia is double digits, right? That also sends a message that, well, is Asia a growth market? Definitely, because the Asian economies, the economies are growing, right? So it may have to. So in focus maybe the Asian market growing.
And in Europe. I'm not sure. Something.
Yeah. Uh, Asia, you may need to also cater to that market. Obviously, they're catering to that market's needs, but they have to maybe have a base there, right? Their current head office is in one. Maybe it's a. I mean, percent is not small amount, the growth. So they need to kind of seriously look at, you know, I'm going to have a designer hub there, right? We have Asian designers, right? To the Asian market. Those are predominantly in the northern and central Europe. It does currently have many stores in southern Europe. Okay? Internet is also very, very interesting, where it says has invested 25 million on the launch of its website to offer online shopping to its customers with European markets. At the end of 2015, Rio's website was fully operational across 20 of 30 European countries in which Rio currently operates the stores. Now, I want to go through this in much greater detail the next time, right? We'll stop it here because this is a whole new area that we need to explore. Okay? Especially in Asia as well, there's a big, you know, how Alibaba, the store, this website, it's huge in China, and it's of huge everywhere else as well. But you know, you can see the potential if you look at Alibaba, and they look at, you know, what these guys have done. They're only focusing on Europe here. They're not even gone into the Asian market. Okay, so let's end today on at these sales. I will have these notes available, but I'll also give you access to this learning system, and where I will have mock questions there for you as well. But the mock questions will be in the later part, not now. But the notes that we make in class, I'll put in here. Okay. So far.
So I have not received this case study material. Do you?
Okay, fine. I'll send that to you today.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on the website, right? On the CIMA website?
Yes, it is there on the website.
Okay,
okay, don't worry, CIMA website is quite complex, you know.
Find it on the CIMA website, CIMA Connect.
Yeah.
Log on.
I